he's not a potential provider man, honey. He's just an old dude. He's just an incel in an old man's body. But you're thinking that he's like some man that might be a provider because he's a little older and ooh, maybe he has his own business and maybe he got it going on. Girl, just because he's older don't mean that he got it going on like that. And it doesn't mean that he's gonna spend on you or take care of you or care about your emotional needs. Most likely, he will actually be more incel than incels that are like my age. Because you know what? He's been in the game longer and he understands that the younger you are, the more easy it is for you to abandon your self-protective tendencies and then start talking to this old man. Oh, maybe this guy is just some nice old man I met at the park and he just wants to share a little story with me. Maybe he's just an old man. Girl, he's not just an old man. He's trying to energy cipher you. He's trying to energy cipher you. So, today's incredible topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a minute, but today I knew it was the time, is old men. Old men, are they really potential sugar daddies or are they threats? And should we talk to the nice old man that we meet in the park who's just there feeding birds, or do we really gotta guard our energy better? Well, that's what we're gonna answer in today's little video. And first and foremost, I wanna say, this channel, I mean, you probably know this, is very much focused on protecting your energy and growing your energy, which means that a lot of my content is definitely focused towards girls that have, they feel like they're doing too much, they're overcompensating, they're oversharing, they're people pleasers. And this is why I want to make these videos, because I want to protect you girls. I want to protect you. I want to make sure that you're set. I want to make sure that you do not make mistakes that could actually set you back in your growth journey. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into it. If you are the type of girl who is a people pleaser or an overcompensator or someone who's an oversharer and you feel like you need to do people right in order for you to get anything back, which is probably what's led you to maybe have a victim complex because you're never getting anything back. You're like, why am I not getting anything back? Like, I'm being so nice. Old men are really freaking dangerous for you to be around. You have to understand that the image that you probably see on social media of women being like, oh, I found my silver fox, and like, you just have to find an older man and then he'll take care of you and he's got it all going on. I'm not saying you can't do that, and I'm not saying that there aren't benefits of dating an older man. Definitely there are, and we can get into that later. But for the most part, these older men are just here to energy cipher you. And you are letting them because you want to make sure that everyone's happy, and because of this man's age, you don't think that he's a threat. But you have to understand that the older a guy is, the more he actually is a threat to you. Because the more time this man has spent being able to clock how the system works, and now maybe maybe he has like 3 wives. He has 3 wives. Maybe he's had 3 wives. Maybe, he's a widower. Maybe whatever it is he's gone through, he's clocked it, which means that he knows how to make sure that he gets the most out of you for the least if you do not have the proper boundaries. Okay? You might think that the young men are the worst, that the incels and today's men don't have any, today's men are not really men. They don't know how to give flowers. No. The old men are more dangerous because they know how to move more subtle. They don't give off as many red flags up front. as you might think they do. And they might come off a little more like open and honest and like, oh, you know what? I just want to have a fun time, girl. But they are also so attuned to the fact that a younger woman probably hasn't done as much self work that an older woman has. And that is exactly why they enjoy the company of a younger woman, because they know that she is more emotionally attached, she's more emotionally dependent, and this is why he can get more out of you for less. One example that I want to take is I went out for a walk not that long ago, and I was just like sitting and reading my book in a park, and this old guy comes up to me. And I'm just sitting and reading, and he asks, like, what are you reading? And I'm like, oh, I'm just reading this book. Mind you, this guy comes off completely, like, nice in the beginning, but this is not my first time. I wasn't born last night. Let's just say it like that. And I understand that when an older man starts talking to a younger woman, it is not just because he's like a nice old man. It is because he sees that he has an in on you, and now you can have conversation. And if you're not smart enough, you might think, oh, I'm getting wisdom. You're not getting no wisdom from this guy. But this guy might think that he's passing on wisdom to you. And he thinks that that is transaction enough for you to be in his company. And I was talking to this guy, and he's like, he finds out that I have a lot of experience in marketing. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, maybe you can help me out with something that I got going on. And then he's like, maybe you can get like a percentage of the however much we make in this business. And I'm like, I don't do anything but upfront payments for the work that I do. That's what I said right away. And then that's when he perked up and he was like, oh, I clocked it. You're not stupid like that. You're not someone who's not like just going to sit around and be like, oh yeah, you want to do business with me? Ooh. But prior to that, we had a conversation. And this is when I started clocking. I'm like, I'm wasting my time talking to some guy. The only thing he wants to talk about is his expertise. And this is stuff that I already know. Mind you, this guy's like 60 years older than me. 60 years older than me. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I have all of this expertise. And I'm like, none of the stuff you've taught me during me sitting here is something that's new. And I could just tell that he was really, really like proud of himself saying all of this stuff. Like, yeah, I said all of this. I told you, like, I taught you something. Girl, an old man wants to teach you something. And you know what? There are moments where it's okay to let an older man perceive that he's taught you something. But in the case where you're like sitting there feeling like your time is being wasted, it's not. Because he's clocking that you're like literally like letting the minutes run. And that is him getting energy from feeling like he can impose wisdom. He's feeling like he's getting energy, and then he goes home and he like looks himself in the mirror and he's like, I did good today. I enlightened the youth. He did not enlighten you, and you need to let them stay away from you when it comes to enlightening you, because they're not enlightening you. They're stealing your time, you're stealing your energy, and the reason that you kind of like let that slide is because you think you're being merciful. You're being merciful and like, ooh, this is just an old guy. He just wants some company. Are you working at an old person home and are you getting paid to do that work? No. Then it's not your job. Ask him. Okay, so what are you willing to pay for the marketing stuff, if that's what it is? And then be like, okay, well, that's what we're going to do. You need to be more upfront when it comes to older guys. The older they are, you need to be more upfront with them. Let's talk more about that. This is why when it comes to older men, you have to get very, very good at being transactional. And you have to get very, very good at saying exactly what you want up front. And I'm not going to be like, I'm not telling you to be like, I want a Birkin bag. Give me a Birkin bag right now. But you need to be very, very in tune with the things that you like. Like, oh, I really like shopping. I really like traveling. I really like this and this and this and that. I really like fine dining. Because then that's his only in on you. And he will clock that you're smart enough to understand that he's had a lot of time for him to work to be at a level where he should probably be able to afford that for you if he wants to talk to you. And he's like 60 years older than you, or 40 years, 20 years older than you. Like, if he's talking to you, he has to offer something. And he's hoping you're not going to bring that up. That's why he feels like he can keep on talking to you if you're just letting him. If you're just acting like you're an unpaid intern at the old person home, he's just hoping you're going to let him talk. And he's like, oh yeah, she's not asking for anything. He just wants your company. He doesn't want your company. He wants to boost his own ego. All men are narcissists. He wants to boost his own ego. And you have to get used to understanding that with men in general. But the older he is, the more ego boost he's going to be looking for, because he no longer wakes up in the morning and sees like his muscle flex in the mirror. He's going to be wanting to get more of an ego boost. So he's probably going to want to talk more. He's probably going to want to tell you more about how amazing he is and like all of this and all of that and all of the stuff he's done. And if you're just sitting there saying, yeah, tell me more, that's just literally him feeling that validation. And he's going to crawl back to you. But eventually you're going to get so drained that you're going to be like, what did I get out of this? And that's because you weren't upfront enough about what you wanted when you met that guy. And I'm not even saying, this doesn't even have to be like a guy you're dating. This can literally be you doing business, you doing school stuff, school related stuff. It can be anything. You have to think that this man is it's your employee. And you are the hottest, newest stock out there that is literally firing away. And the only way that he can get to actually have your attention and have a little bit of you in his portfolio is for him to invest a lot of moolah. Is for him to invest a lot of energy into you, because you're not going to listen to his stories about the good old days unless he is giving you the good days right now. Okay, so the older he is, the more you have to set boundaries for what you expect in his company. And this is where I have to tell you girls something very important. If you are the people pleaser type of girl, if you are the overcompensator type of girl, then you might not want to go for old men. You might have to stay clear of old men, not even just old men, older men. Maybe you just have to stay clear of dating in general, because the older men are like, their energy is like significantly lower than yours just because of their age, and their ego needs to be boosted just that much more, which means that if you're not emotionally, like if you haven't emotionally padded yourself up, if you haven't emotionally like built yourself, if you haven't worked on yourself mentally, if you aren't good enough at saying no, if you aren't good enough at saying, this is what I want, if you feel like asking for literally going on a coffee date, if you feel like asking for going to a specific place to eat, if you feel like that's too much, an old man you're going to be the one getting played. He's going to be like, okay, so I get a young woman. I don't have to spend any money on her, and she's going to give me company. He's not going to feel like he's like, oh yeah, she thinks I'm her sugar daddy for literally buying her a Marc Jacobs bag. Just because you feel like you need to be nice. No. The older the man is, the meaner you have to be, the more stern you have to be, the more stoic you have to be. Basically, the more of the B word you have to be. The older the man, the more of the baddie. And that is why sometimes we see these really, really, really old guys with like the baddiest of the baddies. Because these women have worked on themselves like crazy. You can see that reflected in the way that they carry themselves, in the way that, like, they know how to like get this guy wrapped around their finger. They will listen to his stories about like the good old days back in the West. But they know that they're not going to get that out of him unless they ask. And they have the audacity to ask, because why in the heck is trying to get her attention if he's not going to try to do anything for her? This is the ultimate truth about dealing with older men. They will try to, like, they don't even see you. They see you as way less of an equal because they understand that your age gives you like less qualification, which means that you have to be that extra bit mean, that extra bit stern, that extra bit like, I'm not dealing with that. Because this man will literally try to get the most out of you for less. And he's not even gonna be verbal about it, like the incel guys on the internet that are like 20, 25 or something. He's not gonna be verbal about it like that. He's just gonna be like trying to use the victim role, or the, I did all of this in my days. You should listen to me because I have all of this experience. I can teach you something. And he's going to be like, oh, well, a young woman wants to listen to an old man. There's a lot she can learn from him. And that's going to waste your youth. Yeah, like your youth is priceless. Your youth is like something that you cannot put a price on. So clock that, that the older he is, the younger you are, the higher your boundaries have to be. So if you are someone who's an overcompensator, if you are someone who's a people pleaser, girl, don't deal with these old men. Walk away. Like, what are you trying to be around these men for? You think that they're gonna give you your Barbie dream house and your Birkins? No, they're gonna be like, oh, they might take you out for a nice little show off and like, but you gotta be like, no, I'm not doing that. I have curfew. My mommy and daddy said that I have curfew, so I can't be out that long. Oh my God, you remind me of my granddad. You just have to be that extra bit stern. And this is actually something that comes to running into old men in general in public as well. That's something that I've noticed, that, you know, I'm someone, I like to go read in public because I don't know why. I feel like I just get more peace from like reading sometimes on a bench or something instead of reading at home. You know, sometimes when you sit at home, you feel like you're doing everything at home. So sometimes it's nice to go out. Anyways, sometimes you'll have some dude who's like sitting beside you and it's like, he feels like he wants to just like get a word in, like even just wanting to get a word in, like, oh, it's such a nice day. Oh, it's such a nice day. This is the reason I'm making this video today is actually because I was sitting on a bench. I was reading my book, and these two older dudes, mind you, their wives just left. I could just tell that their wives just left. They're like sitting beside me. And then the first thing they say is like, oh, it's such a nice day to drink beer. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, they can barely speak English, but they're trying to have a conversation with me. They're like, I can tell that they're talking about me. And I can tell that they're this and this and that. Like, I'm not going to talk to you guys. It doesn't make sense, because the only thing you want your wives literally just left. Your wives literally just left, probably to go pee or something, and you're here talking to me about beer. Why are you talking to me about beer? Why me? Just because I'm sitting here? This is why you also have to get good at making sure that you position yourself in specific environments, because if you position yourself in an environment where these people can just come up to you, you have to be good at having those boundaries. If you don't have those boundaries, you are going to waste your time, you're going to waste your energy, and then you're going to wonder why you're like always really, really low energy. Girl, it's because these guys feel like they have an in on you, and you're like, I want to be nice to other strangers. Me personally, I grew up in a culture where everyone is considered your friend. Like, we're all supposed to be one big people and we're happy together. So that can definitely also lower your guards and make you more likely to talk to everyone. But the older men, no, just be like, I don't no comprendo. I don't understand. I don't speak whatever they're speaking. So if you're someone who's like a girly who likes to go out, or maybe I don't know, whatever it is you like to do, generally you just have to be aware of the older men, because they want to talk to you if you're just a pretty girl. They want to talk to you because they're like, energy. They're like a moth to a flame. They're like, energy, energy. I want the energy. And then you're like, oh, this nice old guy. He deserves to talk to someone. And they're like, oh, yeah, she thinks I deserve to talk to someone. I do. And then you're like the one losing all of your energy. Of course, you're going to end up getting burned out, girl. These men are getting you burned out, girl. So, well, anyways, there is benefits, of course, to dating older men. And first and foremost, that is they have more money. Supposedly, they're supposed to have. If they don't have more money, why are you even dating an older guy? You don't have to date an older guy. A guy can be emotionally mature. He can be your age, and he can take care of you. He don't need to be that much older than you, but you just have to make sure that he got it. But the benefit of being with a man who's older is that he has an education, he has like things going on for him, and he's not gonna be out trying to like be around bros like, oh bruh, like bruh, like and that is definitely some of the benefits, but generally the benefits don't outweigh the consequences of dating a man who doesn't have it. It doesn't. So it's one of those where, as much as I'm saying that older men are dangerous. Old men are dangerous if you do not need to know how to set your boundaries. But men in general, men are narcissistic. All men are narcissists. I stand by that. And if you want to cancel me for that, cancel me. Yay, cancel me. Cancel me. But all men are narcissists to a point where they want you to do something for them. And the younger they are, the more you think that you're equals. But that's also why sometimes it can actually be a good thing to date someone who's older than you, because you will understand that you have an age one up on him, and he will understand that in order to be in your company, he has to have something to provide for you. And if you're good enough at setting your standards for him, you will actually probably have a more like a better, well-balanced relationship, because you guys know what each other got going on. But also, the man doesn't have to be old for you to be able to have someone who takes care of you. You just gotta have better standards. And you think that being with an older man is gonna make him have more standards? It's BS. It's BS. Maybe there are gonna definitely be older men out there, but most of them are just looking for that like extra bit of time and like someone that wants to listen to them. That is why you can be more transactional with older men. Younger men, they still have time and they still think they're all that. Older men still think they're all that, but they're like starting to doubt it a little bit. So they're like, okay, maybe you can confirm I'm all that, but you can only confirm he's all that if he also confirms that you can get something out of that. Sounds very transactional, but you got to be transactional in order for you to be able to protect your assets, because you're essentially wasting your precious time being around some dude who's like 1 foot in the grave, and you are here like, if you took 1 step to the left instead of to the right into the grave with him, then you would be like 2 feet into life. Like, girl. So you gotta be more transactional. And I just feel like the conversation of dating older men is something that we do not usually talk about in a way where we say that older men are not necessarily what we think they are. They're not what we think they are unless you think you are all that. You need to be all that. You need to have things going on for yourself. You need to be that girl in order for you to be able to date any man at any age. I will say that, you know, the younger he is, the less he is going to be able to probably provide for you, because maybe he ain't got that moolah. But that doesn't mean that you can't be around men that are your age, because they may be able to help you out with other things like putting up your shelves or protecting you and your girlfriends when you are at the club or whatever it is you need protection for. It's all about leverage. It's all about what type of lifestyle do you want to live. It's more compatibility than it's about age. But the older he is, the more you just got to be vigilant, and the better you have to be at being transactional and saying this and this and this is what I want. And if he pulls back or if he tries to be like, oh, so you're a gold digger, say yes. Say yes. Tell him you're a gold digger. Because if he actually has a sense of humor, he's going to be like, oh, okay, let's go get you something. But if he doesn't have a sense of humor, he is going to be like leaving you at the spot. So it's a really, really good way to weed them out. Anyways, old men are not all that. Learn that, understand that. They're not necessarily going to be your sugar daddy. Love you.